Focus on B, the video series where I spent about 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on, and this is Sonic Rush Adventure, the weirdly both misunderstood and also very well understood game released during the dark age of Sonic, as we all know, of the late 2000s period. What do I mean by misunderstood and yet understood? Well, on one hand, I've noticed that a lot of people criticize this game for some things that I'm going to talk about a little later. But on the other hand, it actually got some pretty decent reviews from what I've researched. Believe it or not. Yeah, a Sonic game released in the late 2000s that isn't Colors, of course, getting good reviews. I didn't even know it was possible, but apparently it was. And honestly, this is a very, very solid game. So what do I mean by misunderstood? Well, there's this common understanding that I don't even know how correct it is, and I wouldn't say it's super correct, hence misunderstanding, that this game is 90% sailing. And I don't know what game they've been playing, but it's not. So I've been playing through this game a second time, actually. I've already completed it once. And when I did, one of my main impressions was, hey, you know what? There's not that much sailing. Because, seriously, I was under the impression, before I first played the game properly, that I would just spend the entire game, basically I would play, it would be kind of like Sonic Unleashed, but instead of the nighttime levels, it would be boats. So, you'd play through like two really cool running stages like this, like a normal Sonic level, and then you would go on to just hit the boat and hit the seas, right, for about an hour. Turns out that's actually not how the game is structured in the slightest. Yes, the sailing does have a part in the game's structure, absolutely. But it's more of a connecting the dots kind of thing. In fact, you literally connect dots to pull it off. Let me show you. As you can see, I'm playing this on a real Nintendo DS. So, I think that in order to progress, let's just go talk to Tails. Basically, if you want to figure out what to do, you go talk to Tails. Way to go, you've always been awesome, whatever. And then, oh, wait, Tails doesn't have anything interesting for me to, I guess at this point we gotta talk to Blaze, maybe? No? Oh my god. Okay, have I hit the point in the game where I don't actually know what you're supposed to do? Can I do something? No? Okay, well, that's, okay. That is one thing with this game. It's not always super duper clear as to exactly what you're supposed to do, though that's not to say that it's difficult. You don't need a guide to progress necessarily. You usually just, get on the latest hovercraft, the latest appliance that you have, and then you figure out where to go. So as you can see, this is the map system, right? So we zoom out, and from here, we can choose where to... Oh, would you look at that? So here's what I have to do now. In order to get there, I'm over... Oh, actually, wait a second. I can just start from anywhere, can't I? I can just... Even though I'm pretty sure I'm technically like on one of these islands, I can just do this. Oh my god. Seriously, what have people's complaints been about this game? I'm only gonna have to do this much sailing. And you know what's weird? That the boat minigames are actually really fun. This one, for example, is basically just the jet ski minigame that you do occasionally against this guy, this robot dude called Johnny. Go figure. There's this minigame that you do where you have to race against him, and this has basically the same control scheme. And I know that Nintendo, when they made the DS, they were not aware of this at all, but a lot of Nintendo DS games that use the stylus, unlike the Wii with its motion controls, they've actually aged super well in the form of emulation, because this is so natural. It's like I'm playing a PC game, basically. In fact, menus in these games are absolutely seamless on PC, because, most PC games will have mouse-driven menus, so in a way, this game has strangely aged, super well. Now, that's not to say that these missions don't... First of all, they can be a little tricky difficulty-wise, as you can see. I'm having a really freaking hard time. Fortunately, you do get plenty of chances to up your health, but for the most part, I have to say that they're actually not too unenjoyable, right? I mean, look at it, they're not even that long. Check this out. I've only been doing this for about, 2 minutes maybe? And look, we're already at the next location, which I believe is going to get us closer to one of the best levels in the game, because I actually haven't gotten to that point just yet. That being Sky Babylon. That level is so fucking good. It's absolutely amazing. Okay, I don't know what just happened, but I'm gonna assume I probably should have watched a cutscene. That's a good point. This game is also partially narrative driven, so obviously pretty much every Sonic game has a narrative of some kind, right? Let's go ahead and see what's happening here. But I feel like this game puts a slightly bigger focus on it. That's not to say that it's an RPG or anything. Oh, I see. We have to keep going. You know what? I think I'm starting to slightly understand some people's complaints, because now I've done 2 boating sections in a row with no traditional Sonic level. Yeah, okay, I gotta admit, that's a little bit odd. But again, that was like, what, a minute or 2? And after this, hopefully after this, we're going to be engaging in about 4 to 5 to 6, maybe more minutes of pure awesome rush action. And I want to talk about the level design, actually. I was gonna wait until we got there, but let's just do it now. So we got to the level, I mean. Holy shit, what is this bullet hell? Jesus Christ. Okay, I do like how this game kind of takes on multiple genres in a really cool way. There's a later minigame that's basically just Osu. You know, I think before even Osu came out. Or maybe that was... No, I'm thinking of Elite Beat Agents. Whatever, I'm not sure which one came first. But the point is that the level design in the typical Sonic stages is such an incredible improvement compared to the original Sonic Rush. See, Sonic Rush 1... it's the definition of, it's a rough diamond. Like, it's got some serious hard edges. It's a really, really cool game. Oh, it's a hidden island. Oh, man, I thought it was going to be Sky Babylon. Damn it. Oh, I got to get the Sky Babylon in this video, I swear to God. Also, the challenge acts are pretty tough, not going to lie. I mean, with Blaze here, because she's awesome, we can just... We can die, okay, but what we typically can do is do this. We can go really high up, because she can basically double jump, as you can see. She's got great vertical abilities compared to Sonic, who's more, you know, going forward. And so she actually makes for a very good platforming character in this game that doesn't actually have that much of an emphasis on platforming. That seems to be a general complaint with the level design of the Sonic Rush games, that, you know, they are a little style over substance. There's actually not a ton of platforming in this platformer, which generally seems to be, obviously it is kind of an issue, but I think both games get away with it well enough, and I think that Sonic Colors DS has the best overall level design as far as platforming itself goes. Let's actually see what happens. So, wow, talk about a weird island. It's like the entire island is Hollywood. Okay, take a gander at this. Oh, we got a thing. So now what do we... Okay, I don't care, honestly. Does this... Oh, we got a little cutscene. There it is. There it is. We got Sky Babylon. This level right here, you need to play as Blaze in it, okay? Let me tell you. Because it has a ton of fire hazards. This really is Blaze's domain. In fact, honestly, once you unlock Blaze, I say you just play with her the whole fucking game. Because... she's just a more fun character to play as. She's got the better moves, and her fire resistance is super useful. Also, let's talk about the music for a second, because this level has an amazing theme song. So, the original Sonic Rush is known for its really, really stylish and interesting and different sounding soundtrack, right? I mean, it was made by the guy who did Jet Set Radio, I think. So it sounds like no other Sonic game. There is nothing that sounds like Sonic Rush. No other game even Jet Set Radio sounds a bit different to that. And a lot of people tend to sort of, I guess, undermine the quality of Sonic Rush Adventures compositions. And you know what? I gotta admit, I have absolutely no idea what stages, like the more mechanical level and the ghost ship level, I have no idea what they sound like. I'll fully admit that. I just played them just before this, and I don't remember what they sound like at all. A New Venture is amazing. Yeah, A New Venture is such a great little pop tune. And the first level is kind of cool, too. It's got this really interesting sample. Also, the boss theme is really sick. Look at that. She can do a double jump. It's great. The boss theme is really great, too. It's got this really funny samples. But this theme is really, really tight. Listen to this. God, it's such a simple track, too. It's all just this pentatonic lickage, you know what I mean? But, okay, Music Fury stuff aside. I have to say, though, that here's what I enjoy about the level design. I think I actually didn't even talk about it when I got to that point. you've probably noticed so far that the level design, even though this is a late game stage, in fact, I think it's one of the final few levels of the game, I'm not dying constantly. That's because they've greatly, like, Dimps have seriously dialed things back, and I think for the better. Yes, the edges have been sanded down. This is a softer game, so to speak, right? Not to say it doesn't have any edge, but Sonic Rush 1 might as well be like a durian or something. It's just all edges. This game is more like oh, fuck me. Okay, yeah, there's gonna be some edge here or there, right? You're going to die occasionally because, after all, this is a late game stage. But that was 100% my fault right there. That was just because I wasn't really paying attention. Also, yes, Blaze is awesome because she doesn't get hurt by the fire. That's what I meant earlier. But overall, though, there was no such thing as altitude limit or... Well, I don't know. What were the other really dickish stages from Sonic Rush 1? Honestly, I don't remember other than altitude limit, but oh, that's so cool. I forgot about that. The camera zooms out, which must be really fun when you're playing this on a real, like an actual real DS, because it's so tiny, right? I do legitimately own a free DS, and I've played Sonic Colors DS on that thing, and I don't remember it being too hard to see. But yeah, this is definitely much nicer, though. You've probably noticed that I've also retained the gap in between the screens, because a lot of people will kind of zoom them in and make them become one, which looks really bad because the developers obviously took that gap into account when the screens are transitioning from one to the other. So it looks really weird. So I decided to keep that. I just made a custom border just for this game. Although it's not to say that's the only DS game I'm ever gonna do. Right, I've done other DS games to begin with. Anyway, so what else can I talk about when it comes to Sonic Rush? Sonic Rush Adventure specifically. Because the original Sonic Rush, it's hard, man. It's hard. This game is nowhere near as difficult. But I won't say that it's not challenging necessarily. Clearly, I will die occasionally. There are tricky moments to the level design. The bosses. Let me just talk about that. The boss design is so much better in this game. They're way less tedious, they're more original, they're more varied in the way that you defeat them, they don't take as long. All around, like, seriously. In fact, what's crazy about this game is that generally it really does get a bad rep because of the sailing. Also, there's a grinding element. Let me talk about that for a second as well. So, in order to sail, you need to create your methods with which to do so, that being the boats. And Tails needs materials to make them. And where do you get those materials? You get them by completing the stages. Kind of like with the Wii version of Sonic Unleashed, which was also made by Dimps, where you have to complete the stages faster to get more medals. And let me tell you, in my entire playthrough, I only had to go back and get more materials, I think once. No, twice, actually. But funnily enough, the materials you're always short on are the ones from the earlier, easier stages. So they never make you, like, revisit the tougher levels. Although that's not to say that there are tougher levels. As I just said, this game is generally a lot easier. I don't know if easier is the right term, just more forgiving. Not as cheap, right? It's nowhere near as cheap as the original Sonic Rush. Like, I like that game a lot. But let me tell you, I'm not even going to consider touching that game without the good old Shift plus F1 combo. Fucking died just as I said that. What do I mean by that? Save states. That's what I mean. But this game, I actually don't use save states on. I don't have to, because anytime I die, it's because I just sucked, and I'm just gonna try not to have any skill issues anymore. You'll still say that? Are we still able to say skill issue about it seeming old, or I don't know. I guess I have a hard time keeping up with current culture. But anyway, what was I? I find it interesting that out of all the shields to bring back in Sonic games, it's always the electric shield. Like, really, what about the rest of them? I mean, I know what the rest of them are in Sonic Mania and such. I think, did Superstars have the rest of the elemental shields? I don't remember at all, to be honest. I didn't play the game too long ago, I just don't remember. Oh, wait, I forgot. Does Blaze still have her spin dash? Yes! It's really weird. Also, there's a really cool detail that I'm not sure if it's carried over into this game. Let's see if we can pull it off, though. I need Blaze to be on the bottom of the screen. Ah, damn it. Okay, I need her to be on the bottom part of the screen, and she's currently on the top, because that's the touch screen, right? So I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it off, but if I remember correctly, if you tap the screen that blazes... There you go. Okay, let's try this. Oh. Okay, I thought that... No, she just plays a little idle animation. I remember in Sonic Rush 1, she would like hiss at the screen like a cat because it's Blaze the cat, obviously. I thought that was a really nice detail. But yeah, so Sonic Rush Adventure is a very interesting example of a game that kind of objectively improves upon almost every single aspect. Better theming, better level design, better, at least more diverse structure, more diverse gameplay, and just one tiny little mishap, which would be the overall pacing, which I don't even think is bad. Seriously, like, you don't spend that long on the boats, guys, but admittedly, it's a bit of a pace breaker, especially when you're dealing with the boat minigames that aren't directly movement-based, like, for example, like the one we just did earlier. That's actually basically just regular 3D Sonic gameplay, well, kind of, with the touchscreen. Okay, this section's really freaking tricky. I don't actually remember exactly what I'm supposed to do. I mean, obviously just don't suck. Let's try it again. So let's go like this. I know what you have to do. You have to take these guys out beforehand. They don't respawn, I don't think. This isn't an NES game, so they shouldn't Yes, it's a DS game, so they don't respawn. That's nice. Okay. As I said, there are challenging moments in the levels, but this is not cheap in the slightest. This feels completely fair. It's like, okay, we got the enemies, you know what to do, you avoid them, and there you go. As simple as that. Just don't suck. That's all that's all it takes. Just don't suck and the game's easy. Whereas in Sonic Rush 1, even if you're really good at the game, you'll still probably fall into some cheap traps. And there you go. That's the that was the second act done, I think. And now we're gonna get some more materials, and then we have to do a boss. Let's actually see what was that? Oh, look at this. Oh my god, I forgot. This game is like a 3D boss. I told you, there's so much more. I mean, okay, granted, there is a little bit. There's a decent amount of variety in the boss fights in the original Sonic Rush as well, and well, no, I think Sonic Colors DS definitely lets down in the boss department. That's not to say that. I mean, the Sonic Colors version that we all have played, like the Wii version, right? I was gonna say the original Sonic Colors, implying that it's like not that the DS version isn't an official Sonic game or something. You know what I mean. The Wii version, that one doesn't exactly have the best bosses in Sonic history. Let's be real here. But this is really cool. Also, this theme is absolutely banging. I swear to God, I've heard that ooh sample somewhere else. I've never heard that whatever the fuck he's saying sample at the start. You know, this one. Yeah, those ones. Never heard those, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that loud wailing kind of sound somewhere else. But yeah, so one other thing you can do with the bosses here is you can ricochet off of them. Oh, for fuck's sake. Which is very, like, a kind of, what do you call it, Badnik bouncing, very akin to the classic Sonic games, which you couldn't really do in the original Sonic Rush. I don't think I remember you being able to do that, which helps them not drag as long because you can do more damage per hit. Now, of course, the developers try their best to stop you from doing such a thing. Oh, you just stick to the ground, easy, by making you bounce very far away. It's kind of, you know what? For some reason, the bosses in this game remind me of the bosses with the way they're executed in Sonic Rivals, out of all things. Which, I mean, like, it's, you know, it's a handheld Sonic game from the late 2000s. Although those ones were weird because they weren't made by... Who even made those? I do not remember who developed those games, but they're actually really good. I really love the Sonic Rivals games, just both of them. They're really simple and fun. There's really not... Like, there's not a lot of depth to them, but they're highly replayable in my opinion. I especially love Sonic Rivals 2. I think I did a Vivid Noise on that a while ago. I don't know how well that video's aged, but maybe at some point I'll do one on the first game, because I love the first game too, even though I do think the sequel is kind of better in almost every single way. Now, at this point, I'm just trying to figure out how to fucking beat... I mean, I know how to beat this guy, just don't suck. Basically, just run, hit the thing, there you go, get it, and then hit him. Fortunately, at no point does the game apply any sort of what I would call an extreme gimmick to any of the bosses, which would make it so that hitting him is... It becomes entirely a matter of pulling off some incredibly obtuse trick. No, here, he will always give you a chance to hit him in a normal sort of way, where you just kind of stand there and jump into him, right? You'll always have at least that chance. If you can hit him outside of that cycle, then you'll be done with the boss even faster, of course. And you know what? That's really all I have to say about Sonic Rush, actually. Sonic Rush Adventure, specifically. It's an improvement in almost every single way over the original game. There is something that's been lost, absolutely. The edges have been removed. But I think what it loses in edge it makes up for an overall playability. I think that this game is very, very playable, very replayable, very fun, has a lot of things to do, and feels fleshed out. The original Sonic Rush almost feels like kind of like just a tech demo and an introduction to Blaze. A great introduction, a much, I guess I would say a better one than... well, actually, no. Sonic 06 wasn't Blaze's introduction. Sonic Rush was 2005, I think. Sonic 06 was obviously 2006, right? Arr, this wind be ruffling up me whisk. I'm not even gonna fucking do a pirate voice. Whatever. Okay, we're done with the fight. That was fun, though. Right? And I don't say that often about boss fights in video games. You know that. that was a fun boss. That's a rare thing for me to say. So yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Focus on B, the video series where I spent about 20 or so minutes playing and talking about a game that I've got some thoughts on. And this has been Sonic Rush Adventure. I really enjoyed this game. 2007, Nintendo DS.